because of the fact that I had that personal brand and I understand the strength of brand association. Because if you think about it, Chanel is not going to put themselves next to a Walmart. Chanel is going to put themselves next to a Tom Ford or a YSL because it's a brand association. Because I was able to do that, my ideal clients trust me, and it shortened the sales cycle. It drove a lot of organic traffic to me, and I was able to raise my prices from, I mean, I was brand new to a very premium price, and people still pay for it because of a lot of opportunities I was able to get right away and the brand association. So now my team and I basically replicate the same formula and the process for how I build my CEO brand and the client's brand for people around the globe so that they are able to get the visibility that they deserve. And when people search for them, it's a no-brainer that you're going to work with them, because they're like, if this person vouched for them, I'm probably going to be safe with them, collab with them. That's why you see a lot of people will get on, have the leverage of getting on other people's podcasts. That's pretty big, because that association alone is so powerful, way more than you could ever explain or talk about yourself.
I want to share one of the big takeaways that I got from your presentation. I love how you really dispel the myth that branding is just about the logo and the pretty fancy colors, but it's really about your purpose and your core values and your boundaries. That was a takeaway I know I got from one of your podcast episodes. And especially when you think about those luxury brands, that part of what makes them so luxurious are the boundaries that they set. Even the example when you were talking about what Rolex does to make sure they keep their brand exclusive. And admittedly, this was a lesson that I personally needed to learn myself, because I was totally that person who was going to say yes to absolutely everything, when establishing those boundaries was so important for me to take care of myself, to take care of my audience, to take care of my brand. But I'd love to hear you share even more about maybe as your own brand has grown and developed, how you've thought about purpose and your own values and the boundaries that you make sure to set in your own business.
Yeah, that's a really good question, because I trademark treat myself like a luxury brand, and it just finally went through, and I'm super excited about it. And the reason why I stated that is because, like I said before, entrepreneurs are the most selfless people I've ever met, because their goal is to make a difference in other people's lives, not necessarily like their own. In along the way, of course, their life changes, right? But the goal was, it's never like influencers, I want to be famous, I want to change something. But what I realized is, like, when you're so burned out, who's going to be taking care of you? Like, who are you helping? It's like in the airplane, right? If they tell you to help yourself first before you help someone else. So that's when I really noticed, like, these entrepreneurs will have really nice things, and they will have these really nice things that they take care of really, really well. But what if you took care of those luxury brands as well? You took care of yourself. And that's how I came up with the phrase, like, treat yourself like a luxury brand. And part of that is having the boundaries, right? Like, if you don't set your own boundaries, if you don't set your own standards, excuse me, if you have your core values, you're going to start attracting a bunch of people. So when you're building a community, it's so important to attract like, right? But what is it that you really like first? These are things that we don't even talk about when we're in our, when we're starting our, just life in general. Like, school never talks about that. School never tells you how should you, what are your core values? What are the things that you really should focus on? Because once you focus on your top 3 core values, you're going to start to realize you're attracting those people that are similar to you. And there's going to be a lot less resistance. There's going to be a lot less negativity. There's going to be a lot less problems, because you guys value the same thing. It doesn't matter what the external circumstances are. People always think it's personality issues or like situations or environments. Your personality is literally your personal reality right now. It's ever changing, but your core values will stay with you ever since you're a kid. So, for example, my personal core values are freedom, happiness, and fun. So I always look for people that are very similar to me. And then I would also, for my business, it's simplicity, it's elegance, it's fun as well, and direct. Those are our 4 core values. And anybody I hire has to match those values. The clients that I take on also have to match those values as well. And what I mean by simplicity is I simplify everything that I do. I help other people simplify their brand as well. And it shows, right? And then the elegance part is not just doing the bare minimum, but going above and beyond. The directness is cutting to the chase. You know, a lot of luxury brands, they really do cut to the chase to get to the point. They don't beat around the bush. They don't sell you a whole infomercial of bonuses here, this, and that. They go straight to the point, right? So these are things that we are never taught, but if you start with your core values, you will start to realize that it's easier to say no to people. And no is a complete sentence. No is a way for you to set boundaries. And another thing that I've learned recently that's really interesting is that you shouldn't have to explain your boundaries to someone, because the moment you're explaining, you are crossing your own boundaries. And the way to, it's not that person crossing your boundaries, you're crossing your own boundaries by not removing yourself out of the situation. If you're still there and you're expecting that person to change, it's not going to happen. Like, you have to remove yourself from that situation. If you feel like your brand is, like I said before, Chanel, if Chanel is next to Walmart and they are getting Walmart clients, they're not going to be, complaining about why are these clients can't afford me, blah, blah, blah. It's because you're at the wrong place. You're not valued because you're at the wrong place. You're in the wrong network. So these are a lot of things that people don't think about. These are things that all come into branding and the research behind it, because what your foundation is so it shines through in your work, your languaging, your positioning, how you show up, how you talk to other people, how you're perceived. But people just want to, go straight into the exterior. It's like buying clothes. I'm going to buy this clothes and I'm going to feel like a princess. Yeah, maybe when you're in the clothes, but what if you're out of the clothes? You can't be gluing. You can't be in that, in that shirt all the time. So it's really the inner work that really matters. And that's what branding is. Like, people don't want to do the inner work. People just want to go straight into the outer stuff to see for other people to perceive. But once they take it off, when you're home, you take it off, it's like taking off a mask. You're just the same person as you were before.